Well, Heidi ho there, my Taurus collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your twin flame read for November-ish, 2019-ish, because it's like, time is fluid. It's mid-month to mid-month, but, you know, twin flames, right? I am your reader for the moment. If you are new to the channel, Mark Angelo Lyons for short, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and YouTuber, apparently. Building up my numbers, getting closer to 1,000 subscribers so that I can do super live chat, and my promises for the first couple of months, once a month, at least, I will do what's called Drunk Tarot. Well, for entertainment purposes only, just because I'm a fun drunk, but I never drink, and I'm not a big drinker. I never drink when I read professionally, so it'll be a nice opportunity for us to have some fun with it, you know, and you can, like, tip me and shit, and it'll be fun, right? Just entertainment purposes only, but the clarity will still be there, just without the edit function. So please do like and subscribe. Help me reach my goal. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much. I love you all, and I love my earth signs because I am a Virgo, 4 planets in Virgo, and honestly, with these twin flame reads, thank God for the Capricorns and the Taurians, right? Need something a little bit more grounded, something I can relate to a little bit more. Oh, I love you so much, my earth signs. So if you are new to the channel, I do have to do some exposition. If you've heard this already, certainly skip ahead, and if someone hasn't already, please put a timestamp. It says reading starts here, and pop that in, because I am dealing with a head cold. I'm having to take, like, naps in between readings. I actually had to reschedule my client for later tonight because, like, as soon as I do a reading, plug is pulled, and I'm like, let me rest my eyes, and then 2 hours later, my eyes open, so my body just needs rest, plus upper respiratory infection and all of that, so bear with me. The readings are still good, serviceable so far as I can see, so please do comment below if this resonates for you, which also means we have to get to point number 1. This is a general read. Not every part of every single reading can resonate with everybody. It's just not how it works, right? This is about quantum variety and variance, right? You know, so what I'm bringing through in my timeline, right, is just that particular set of quantum threads woven together into a story that some of you, and I do ask that it be truly helpful when I pray, right? It's like, may this be of service, otherwise what's the point? It's just like spinning yarns. So check your other signs. That's why I always do Sun, Moon, Rising as a foundation, adding Venus for relationship-based stuff. You know how it goes. What else? This is a soulmate read. The way I do soulmates are different than most people. Sorry, it's not a soulmate read, it's a twin flame read. They're not the same thing. Oh my God, I've been doing that for the past couple of readings. I apologize. Make, breathe. Just breathe. I want to get the job done, and I want to do it well, particularly for a fellow earth sign, right? I want to make sure I got all my T's crossed, my I's dotted. But a twin flame contract is different than a soulmate contract. They're not the same thing. They are both reincarnational agreements, contracts that we make with other souls from lifetime to lifetime. And you can be a twin flame in one lifetime and a soulmate in the next, if I understand that correctly. You have more than one of both. In fact, we can have hundreds of twin flame and soulmate contracts throughout our many lifetimes. The difference between the two, soulmates, the contract bottom line is that you help each other heal. In twin flame, the bottom line is that you teach each other how to heal yourselves. And how do you do that? By not giving them what they want, right? And because it's contracted that way, you just can't. You may want to. They may want to, but they just can't, right? So it makes you give to yourself the love that only you can give, to do the healing for you that only you can do. That's why they are torturous, they are tumultuous, they are tricky, but they are transformative and they are necessary. And certainly these contracts are not all in romantic sexual context in terms of form, right? The content is the same, twin flame or soulmate, but the form is of infinite variety, right? It's especially considering the quantum, right? So keeping all that in mind, we are going to be looking at these contracts, the twin flame contract, most important for the Taurus collective here, in the terminology of instead of party A and party B, or Cardi B, is divine feminine, divine masculine. It has nothing to do with bodily gender. It's about energetic dynamic. We all bring out different dynamics in each other depending upon the pairing, depending upon the archetypal chemistry between people, right? So that's why we're going to start with these Caroline Myss archetype cards. All the decks I read are at the bottom of the description box below. Please do check out my description box. It's got a lot of info in there. My Vimeo on demand Path of True Love workshop is on there. My 2 ebooks that are currently for sale are up on there, and videos from Matt KAHN, who clarified, well, one video from Matt KAHN clarifying, what's the name of that one? Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined. That was the video that changed it all for me, as well as my own in there clarifying it on my end. Cool, cool. The last thing to remember is to please breathe. Well, I mean, you're going to anyway, but every time we inhale, we're bringing in the divine, right? We are the breath. It is the universal constant that when we croak, whoo, off with the breath we go, because spirit and breath. Inspiration, respiration, same deal. We are spirit, we are breath. And every exhale sends a blessing as well. Of course, better to be in on that than not, right? So let's do this. Oh, my Taurus, my Taurus, my Taurus, here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please. One card in clarity to represent the divine feminine in this Taurus collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. This one, right? Please, what is the main archetype for her? The alchemical soul power moving from lead to gold. The Mediator. We will come back and look at that. We're going to get one for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine, and one for the contract in and of itself. Here we go. Oh, my pantheons, please. Same thing for the divine masculine. One card in clarity for the divine masculine in this Taurus collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign twin flame contract. There you are. For November-ish 2019, please. One for the divine masculine. Well, the warrior. So the Mediator and the warrior, that's pretty ancient, right? One is like, it's like, hey man, but you know, don't crack up, bend your brain, see both sides, throw off your mental chains. Right, little Howard Jones there for you. I love Howard Jones. I'd still make out with him if he wasn't married. Let's look at the contract itself. We're gonna go over all of that. You know me, I'm thorough. That's why for only 20 cards in a spread, or should I say 20 positions in a spread, they're all over an hour. Because twin flames are tricky, and the more of them, these contracts that we are able to fulfill through our own healing, right? It's like these relationships are catalysts for not just our own healing, but because of fifth dimensional unity consciousness, that we're all one. As one of us heals, all of us heal, right? As all of us heal our mind a little bit, you know what I mean? It's instant, right? It's holographic. So yeah, these are important. And of course, your soulmate's there to help you do it. So let's look more at this twin flame. This will be the third card down, and these will be the main energies that will be clarified through the rest of the spread. Good? You're with me, right? Let's go, Taurus. Breathe. Okay. My pantheons, please. One card in clarity for this Taurus collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. 19. What's going on here? Oh, the artist. Okay, so we've got the mediator, which is the wisdom family. We've got the warrior, which is the action family. And what's in between the two of them? The artist, the creativity. So what I can tell you already is when we've got wisdom, action, and creativity, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of creativity. Does that mean, well, that needs to be balanced in this contract. Definitely divine feminine, divine masculine, at least I won't say they're appropriate positions, but we've had a lot of juxtaposition, right? Like I forget which one was it, Virgo, that had like the warrior and the divine feminine, which is totally Wonder Woman for me, and I'm totally down with that, if that was the right reading. I don't remember. But it makes sense. The mediator, not the meteor, the mediator would be the divine feminine. Let me read them. Speaking of Diana. Gotta get through these readings some way, don't we? Earth signs. Shadow attribute. Every archetype is shadow and light, lead and gold. This is what you might be dealing with. This is what you're shooting for. The shadow attribute for the divine feminine here, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. Yeah, you're mediating, but your thumb is already on the scale because you have a private agenda. Private, how do you know something's shadow? You don't want anybody to know about it. In fact, you don't even really want to know that you're doing it, but you are, Blanche. Yeah, you do got your thumb on the scale, right? The light attribute, gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life. Respect for both sides of an argument, right? That totally makes sense for a mediator to do exactly that. Negotiating fairness and strategy. So, you know, this relationship thing, if it's not in relationship with people, then it's about companies or whatever. But definitely you've got the wisdom, you've got the experience there. Just keep an eye on your shadow agenda, where you're not being fair in the gift for negotiating fairness. There's a payoff somewhere. For the divine masculine warrior, and I will say, like this is what we're used to, but the woman warrior is just as prevalent, just as ancient, but of course was repressed for thousands of years. That's why the divine feminine, I define myself as a divine feminine, like that's why Wonder Woman is so important to so many of us, like women and like gay men in particular, gotta say. Because it just is. It's like it's been repressed for a long time. And remember, Wonder Woman in the original mythology was sculpted from clay, which is element of earth, which technically is mutable earth, which is Virgo. Not Taurus, but we can say it's all earth signs, because I don't want to piss off a fucking Taurus about Wonder Woman. Not good. Oh, so read the card. Shadow attribute. Trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others, incredibly narcissistic with a fuckload of violence involved, right? Not great. Not Starfire, Blackfire. You're with me if you're watching Titans, please. I read those comic books back in the 80s. The light attribute, strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. You know, I dealt with someone who might have had the warrior archetype, but actually had the tattoo of a villain on them, and here I was thinking they were a hero, and they were just a villain all along. Interestingly enough, a Decepticon. It's like, how could I be so blind? How could I not see that, right? Obvi in retro. So there's a thing here about this warrior archetype here that really, both of you, it's like, are you being heroes or villains? I mean, the last reading, I guess that was Gemini, literally had the hero-heroine archetype in the third position, in the position of the contract. But just keep that in mind. It feels like it's almost like we've got a judge and a warrior here, that even though judge is a different archetype, but there could be something very legal going on here, particularly if this is like, you know, an officer of the court, an officer of the law, right? With the artist, though, this is beautiful. I mean, this is a bit of a change, because I gotta say, mediator might feel a little dry, warrior might feel a little rough. The mediator archetype for the contract itself, shadow, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others. Now, we see that all the time, right? We see that all the time in that sense of entitlement. And again, narcissism within artists of all different types, from, you know, singers to actors to you name it, right? Even you know, behind the scenes, right? Once you get a name for yourself. So using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. It's all manipulation. It's all stuff in the shadow. The light for the artist archetype, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically, especially if this is about the soul, right? A soul contract. That there is a creativity here where it is very perhaps difficult for either or both of these two to express what it is that they're feeling, because it's so of the soul. Now remember, just because the contract is you teach each other how to heal yourselves, it does not mean that there is not love here. Absolutely. Love is what's going to fulfill the contract so that you either manage to get along, right? Respect each other's boundaries, move on to other relationships, stay friends, whatever that is, or completely just like, blessed be, see you next life, right? Sometimes you got to do that too. Archangel Michael Chainsaw, right? But that there are still people who are going to be in relationships their whole life, because what if it's mother-child, right? Parent-child, I should say, right? So there is love here, but it's like so hard to express that perhaps to see it symbolically, to talk in metaphor, to do it in some way other than perhaps demonstrable love or affection. Demonstrable. I think that's the right word. Vocab. Let's clarify these. Very, very interesting. Right, like, couldn't you see a divine masculine warrior like, I don't know how to say it, so instead I will do it in interpretive dance. Did I just do that in Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, guys? Not cool without permission. You know, I have this whole other pantheon that I call the Shecky Collective. It's all the dead comics throughout time, mostly female, right? Like, I got Gilda Radner in there. I've got, of course, Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. I love them all so much. But then, like, some real Shecky, some real, like, Lock Sheldrake regulars chatting to me up there. Let's ask the angels, please. Oh, breathe. I need to clear the Shecky from my third eye for a mo. Larry and Curly, please. My angels, there you are. One card in clarity for this divine feminine mediator archetype in this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. Please, my angels, one card in clarity for this divine feminine manifestation. If this is the Taurus, if this is you, my Taurus collective sign, then this is definitely something where you have the power of manifestation. That you have not just manifested this situation. You know, we manifest every breath. If you want to really look at manifestation, you manifested this present moment. We always project it so far in the future. Oh, I'm manifesting, that it stays in the future. Look at the successful manifestations you have. Oh, look, gravity is still working, right? Look, I can breathe. Look, I have YouTube. I manifested electricity. I'm paying my bills enough to have a cell phone or a device that I can watch something on YouTube, Vimeo, wherever you're catching this, right? Let's get one for the Divine Masculine Warrior here, please. Yeah, I know. I need to shuffle this reverse so the cards don't warp. That's a little trick I learned, that if you shuffle the cards reversed where you usually do, they won't warp as badly. Just got to remember to do it. My angels, please, one card for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign divine masculine warrior archetype. Just kick it right out. Please. Okay. Nature. That there's something in here, dual meaning to the card. One is certainly get out in nature. We know this. It's always a good idea to go out and just breathe some fresh air. In fact, I need to do that today. It's just pouring rain out right now where I am. But also there's something about the nature of this being, of this divine masculine, their warrior nature. It really, our true nature is divine. So really perhaps pointing to that, the light aspect of this, right? More of the heroism, the strength, the skill, the honor, the stoicism, like the willingness to go through what needs to be go through, to free oneself of their own toxicity, right? To battle that demon, right? But to go to war, it's love revolution, right? It's like, it's hard, that it's so much harder to feel the feelings of pain and suffering that warriors divine masculine warriors in particular, tend to repress from lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and then be challenged to all of a sudden have to love what rises and embrace all of that without killing themselves or somebody else. It's a real adjustment, right? But so it is for us all, right? That repress for success just doesn't work anymore. It doesn't. It's what creates psychopaths and narcissists and demons. Demons, I say, demons. Oh, Mr. Leghorn. With a hand. Yes. I know, I should have been a voice actor. That's what happens when you're raised by a nursery school teacher. Oh, please. My angels, one card for this artist archetype. Representative of this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. Please, my angels, one card in clarity for this Taurus twin flamer. Freedom. This one's been coming up too. Now that can really mean that it frees the artist within both of them, right? Frees them in terms of their expression, but it can also mean that they are freed from this contract. I saw that kind of sort of, was that in Gemini? That might have been, because I'm doing them in reverse order this time. That might have just been in Gemini, actually. Same position, same card. Go look, I don't know. So we're going to keep building on that, because manifestation with the mediator, so the divine feminine is manifesting whatever is going on in this situation. True, every moment we're manifesting something, but something really where the mediator archetype in this divine feminine is active or being activated. In the warrior, there's something about their warrior nature, like, is this going to be win at all costs, kill, 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 or is this going to be, okay, if I have to sacrifice a little bit, or a lot of it, if I have to really have myself in alignment with my highest truth and my highest virtue, even when I want to just slay everybody or myself, that is the divine nature of. So that's in the crucible here, as it will, for transformation. And there's something freeing here about the artist archetype, as well as saying that there is something symbolic going on here that they may not be able to see unless they pull back a little bit, right? You see the story that you're in all of a sudden. So what's the story of a warrior and a mediator together, right? Sometimes it pops to your mind. But that's why we got more cards. We're going to use Daughters of the Moon Tarot to clarify for this mediator and to clarify for the contract itself as the artist. We will mirror that with another deck for the divine masculine and the contract. Please breathe. Oh dear, 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 dear. Please, my goddesses, Demeter in particular, one card in clarity for the divine feminine in this Taurus collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. We've got the mediator with manifestation. Can you please clarify that? Like, what's being... Okay, well, what's being manifested, interestingly enough, for mediator is the Ten of Blades, which in this deck is called the rattle, the Native American ceremony of the talking stick, so that everybody gets to be heard. So really good for a mediator that all voices get to be heard here, so a resolution can come into play. Now, look, nobody's getting stabbed in the back. That's in the Rider-Waite deck and every variation on that theme, which is why I adore this deck so much. I love Daughters of the Moon Tarot. I actually have 3 versions of it. one black and white, two black and white, which is how they were originally published, and only one in the color that I use for clients. The other two is for personal and magical work. Yes, work witch. So yeah, she is manifesting this sit down, this hopefully diplomatic, right, mediator. Let's sit down, let's work this out, let's talk this out, communicate, but with that shadow attribute of the artist there, right, that there might be feelings of excessive entitlement, a little difficulty in terms of expressing what's going on in the soul here, but that's not going to stop the divine feminine from trying. So my goddesses, please, one card, contribute, please, a card of clarity for this artist archetype. Taurus Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Twin Flame contract. Please, one card in clarity to help us understand the overall Twin Flame contract. All right, so we've got the Aries card here. Now, whether or not an Aries is involved is moot at this point, because this is the contract itself, not necessarily the people involved. However, it's cardinal fire, it's first house, it's personality, it's ego. So definitely we are looking at a strong personality, possibly in both divine masculine, divine feminine, different levels of toxicity in terms of relationship to the self, in terms of ego, particularly with that artist. Cardinal fire is creative fire. So using talent as an excuse to mistreat others might very well be in play here. But there's an opportunity here, either freedom from this contract or freedom from this pattern. You know, this would feel more like an overt narcissist if we're talking that language. I'm still learning the pantheon. There's a pantheon of narcissism. The covert is the one that usually tries to sneak up on my ass, right? The overt ones don't have a shot with me. That's why I got magical jewelry, you fuckers. Stay back. I just got to retune them for covert. Try and fly under my radar. But yet, everything that comes to us, right, is for our own healing and our own growth and our own awareness. So with the mediator trying to kind of get this all together, it does make sense that there's an opportunity here for, in some way, a symbolic artistic freedom from any ego toxicity going on here, right? Me, I, illusion of separation. Oh, we're good with these. We're only doing two from this deck. Let's do the two from the Mythic Tarot, one for the Divine Masculine, one for the contract itself. Oh my gods, please. One card in clarity for the Divine Masculine in this Taurus Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Twin Flame contract for November-ish 2019, that it be a channel of your divine guidance and grace for the well-being of all. Please, 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 please. What's going on here with the Divine Masculine in this Taurus contract? There he is. Well, some big shock. Seven of Wands, defensive as fuck. Defensive nature. Defensive, like, he kind of knows. He sort of knows, right? He knows, it's like, I fucked up. But you're not going to beat it out of me. Oh, he's going to be stubborn. He's going to stand his ground, you see. He's going to stand atop his knoll with his rods, and I'll hit you on the head for it. Oh, dear God, 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 God. Yeah, I'm feeling that. A defensive nature there, but, you know, willing to go through the fight, too. It's, I mean, look at the two of them together, right? Come on now. Come on now. Gonna stand your ground. Which, you know, if it's for just cause, right? Isn't that? If it's for honor, if it's for, you know, heroism, but if it's just pure, straight out defensiveness, not great. Let's look for the contract itself. Please, my God, same thing, but this time for the overall Taurus Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Twin Flame contract for November-ish 2019. Please, a piece of your godly guidance and grace. We've got the artist archetype with freedom and the Aries card. What say you? Oh, my fucking word. It's the Aries card. It's King of Wands. There's a fucking ram on the card. Right? Holy fuck. So, you know, let's just say there's a lot of cardinal fire going on here. This has potential of volatility. There might even be, I won't lie, there might be a touch of violence going on here, and maybe not just mental or emotional violence, but physical violence. Be very, very careful, whichever side you are dealing with here. Because with Mediator, their sole thing really is to let's negotiate fairness here. There may be so much on both sides of the toxicity of the ego of win at all costs, to where the mediator puts a thumb on the scale, because it feels like they have the power here, if they are the mediator, to try and bring this together in fairness and balance. There's a lot going on here. I don't know if you can feel it, and if this is your story, to the extent you can, please comment in the description box below, because I find this fucking fascinating. But we're nowhere near done. We are going to look at the lead and the gold using the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, half the deck, the problem suit, the womp womps, as I like to call them. The other half of the deck here, the suits of luck, healing, and grace. So lead and gold. Let's look for the divine feminine here. Definitely, don't you need a sip of something? Something warm? I make the best coffee. Breathe. This is like soap opera drama. Please, my masters, one card in clarity. What is the lead? What is the toxicity going on in the Divine Feminine Mediator in this Taurus Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract? That we've got manifestation, and we've got the rattle, that Ten of Blades resolution, putting all the pieces of the puzzle on the table. And we've got doubt. Okay, so that's what's sort of the lead here, the doubt, like not really trusting perhaps our own perception, that back and forth, and the voice of doubts. It probably doubts on a couple of different fronts with the 10 here, that this might be going on within herself, but then is also manifesting in synchronicities outside of her, sort of making her doubt what's really fair in this situation. I would say that, you know, we all deal with doubt. It just comes with. It's one of the ways that, you know, well, because there's healthy doubt. It's like when what you are hearing from someone, your body says something different, right? Like if someone says, no, I really want to work this out, and it's like, well, the vibe I'm feeling and what they're saying don't match. That's that's like intuitive lie detector or deception detector. It's like, that's a healthy doubt. It's like, something's over. I don't like it, right? Like the tummy goes, don't like it. No, bleh, right? Maybe not that intense. But also to have the doubts about what is the right thing to do here. There's so many ways that doubts can manifest, particularly doubt, the doubt in that this will all work out and somehow this is happening for our greatest good, right? The higher spiritual stuff, it's easy to doubt all of that in one nutshell. So let's look. What is the gold here, please, my masters? For this Divine Feminine Mediator in this Taurus Collective Twin Flame contract, we've got the doubt in the lead. What is the gold here? Oh, sorry, I pulled the same deck twice. No, didn't even look at what it was. Please, the gold here, my masters, please, please, please. For this Divine Feminine, because I get that doubt there. What's something that she can focus on to balance that out even within herself to help with this process of alchemy? Beauty. Well, connected with this artist archetype, then perhaps there is a hint there. See it. Try and see the beauty of it. Now, don't sit there, how do I see the beauty of this? But in terms of manifestation and about resolution, that somehow there is something beautiful about this. May not be in the literal sense of how it appears physically, but there's something like a poetic justice to it, right? It's like that. There was something beautiful about how all this information came out, and perhaps it's done in a more loving way, particularly with doubt, to say like, yes, even the doubt here is beautiful because the heart is involved, the soul is involved, that rather than do this in a completely shadowed way, tipping the scales out of my own fear or insecurity or sense of not being safe, instead to move towards this freedom of the ego, not just from the ego, to free the ego from its burden as well, right? I mean, the ego is not our enemy, ultimately. It's a piece of the higher self that has forgotten what it is. It's the internal demon that is eventually the internal angel. But what is the internal angel? The higher self. It's the inner child. It's the heart. So if you think of the ego as sort of like this toxicity within the child, right? It's like as you love that child and you let it rant and rage, and particularly Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the infant, right? So you let it scream, you let it cry. You don't pick up a screaming infant. Not that I do that often. I don't have kids. I have cats. But it's just like, oh, I love you. I love you. Scream. You know, like after 5 minutes goes, well, the loving didn't work here. You're not trying to change the child. Well, maybe change his diaper. But you're giving it the love that it's calling out for, right? So you do that to your own heart, and it's not supposed to instantly make it feel better. It's not a drug. It's giving, it's loving what arises. Go check out Matt KAHN. He says it better than I do. But I have long curly purple hair. I love him. I'm not jealous of him. I adore him. I literally send him gratitude every day through the airwaves. Let's look at the Divine Masculine here, shall we? What's his lead? How's that for face? What's his lead? The Divine Masculine Warrior archetype in a Taurus contract? Whoa. Pissing contest. Breathe, my masters, please. I'm glad I made you laugh. One card in clarity, please. What is the lead here for this Divine Masculine Warrior in this Taurus Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sign, Twin Flame contract for November 2019? What's his lead? What's his toxicity? Defensiveness. There it is with the 7 of Wands. So we're getting really, really clear. Now, usually when readings come through this really, really, really clear, it's because it's like, this is probably not also very hidden. It's probably just like just beneath the surface. Perhaps people are behaving themselves. But there are defenses up here. And it's so funny because it feels like the Divine Feminine in this 10 of Blades, the rattle with beauty, is just sort of more like being receptive and come on, kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya, you know? What? No kumbaya? Where's the acoustic guitar? It's never my scene. Never my scene. Let's breathe. Because I make up my own words to that song that are so vile and disgusting that it makes me laugh for hours. Oh, please, my masters. One card in clarity. What is the gold here? What is the, we know the problem, it's defensiveness. What is the luck, the healing, or the grace available to this Divine Masculine Warrior in this Taurus Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sign, Twin Flame contract for November-ish 2019? Please, one card in clarity. This one. Laughter. Well, maybe that's why I've been cracking wise this whole time. That perhaps he can laugh at himself. And that is a hero's thing. A villain can't laugh at themselves. They just can't. They're too insecure for that kind of thing. They tend to want to kill people who laugh at them. So if they have to laugh at themselves, we're talking about haha suicide. Not great. So instead, we're looking at someone really here who has to kind of like step back, Divine Masculine, if you're the one watching this. You just have to laugh at yourself here and this, because there's so much posturing that it's not really your true nature. Your true nature is more lighthearted. You are a hero, not a villain. Granted, the work that you're doing is probably fucking rough if this is a lifetime thing where you've just always been protecting, defending, very Archangel Michael. Then I understand the defensiveness. I also understand the ego that can say, well, because of what I've suffered and what I've gone through, you know, I say what goes. It's like, well, then live alone. Then really be an Aries, first sign of the zodiac. Be single for your life, because that can do a lot of damage in other people's lives. And if we don't tend to the wounds within us, eventually, then they really do start to bleed on other people. And then they need to be bled on to the sense that they have to learn when to walk away if the other person won't heal. Feels like you got a mediator here who ultimately, in the light, wants to talk about this and manifest this safe space where everybody gets heard. everybody gets to speak and everybody gets heard, and that there's something beautiful about it, though they have their doubts, where if this is derisive laughter at what the Divine Feminine is conjuring up here, then don't bother. Walk. Really be free. Because the two of you, there's something artistic here, there is something beautiful here that is being missed if there is real mean-spiritedness going on either side. Yeah, this totally could be family. This totally could be two family members. It's like, where's the respect? Are you both being big babies about this? Well, one of you is a Taurus, right? Taurus, sun, moon, rising, whatever. Venus sign. To be stable, to be nurturing. Just saying. All right, let's get these last two down for the contract itself. Oh, my masters, please, one card, one problem card, one womp womp here for this artist archetype, Taurus collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for November 2019. We've got freedom and the Maiden of Flames and the King of Wands, which are both the Aries cards. So please, 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 one card in clarity for this one. And you both got the lack of self-worth, right? So there's a lot of posturing. That's where narcissism starts. Somebody put you down, somebody hurt you, somebody abused you, somebody neglected you. From there goes the child, because we're all narcissistic as kids and teenagers, but at some point a piece of the soul was left behind, and soul retrieval feels like it's necessary on this one, to call it back, to heal, to call in that fragment, to do the emotional healing, to alchemize the lead into gold, because lack of self-worth, particularly in an artist thing, it creates such destructive art. Not that the art itself is necessarily destructive, but the process through which it is birthed is bloody in some one way or another, right? Incredibly painful. And yes, birth is a bloody process, literally, physically. And, you know, I'm sorry, some of the art that has moved me most has come to me during some of the most excruciating periods in my life, particularly music. But with that, see, it's like coughing up. There's a detox available here, a freedom from this, and let's get the gold. Excuse me. Pardon me, a little tickle in my throat, still clearing out this head cold. Been pretty good all reading so far, though. Stuck in my craw. There we go. Thank you so much. So sorry. If you're wearing earbuds, it's got to be excruciating. I'm sorry. Try and warn you. My masters, please, what is the luck, the healing, or the grace here for this artist archetype collective, Taurus collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for November-ish 2019? Please, we've got lack of self-worth here. What is the grace, the luck, or the healing to balance it? Happiness, the grace of happiness. So with laughter and happiness and beauty here, that there's really an opportunity for each of you individually to be happy with where you are, in the sense of really saying, I am freeing myself from some of this emotional baggage, from some of this narcissistic behavior, and you know, it becomes very clear to me from my guides and through my research that someone can exhibit narcissistic behaviors and tendencies for a period of time that may not have the diagnosable or diagnosed personality disorder, right? It's not a mental illness, it's a personality disorder. There is a difference in my mind, at least. For some people, they blur the lines, and that's fine. Whatever you do, you do. But then that lack of self-worth about, like, not being able to be happy, like a starving artist, right? Like a shadow artist there milking people. It can be very, very toxic. Abusing others because of the talent, to mistreat others. Almost this could feel like an agent and a client, right? A client in terms of an artist or something like that. But it feels like both are artistic in this sense, and it doesn't feel like either one of them usually budge an inch. But the mediator is willing to at least mediate so that fairness can be at least discussed and maybe negotiated. Let's get 3 of the Whispers of Love Oracle here, because we got to bring the element of the divine in here big time for this one. Because love conquers all. It's just how it is. It's the answer to every problem is remember who you truly are, and who you truly are is a soul that was chosen to play these roles in this lifetime and many others in one way or another, even meta incarnation, playing the same lifetime over and over and over and over again like a video game until you get it right? Until you've exhausted every possible wise, loving, heart-centered decision, right, that you can play in the game. We watch what has already gone by. Course in Miracles, probably paraphrase. Please, the higher selves of all involved, one card in clarity for this divine feminine mediator in this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. Please, a whisper of love for her. Romance. Here we go. Lavish the one that you love with your personal attention and affection. Now, I'm not saying to go ahead and do that, Divine Feminine, until the air is cleared, but if there is romantic agenda here, it's going to be very hard for you, to be fair, or not to put your thumb on the scale. So, lavish the one that you love with your personal attention and affection, unless this person is not the one that you love, but this is one person on the scale, the one you love on the other, which is a little bit, that's called a hidden variant, out of nowhere, changed by one card, right? Can mean that there's a romantic attraction here, but you better make sure the truth comes out before this mediation happens, right? Otherwise, there really is your own romantic shadow tipping the scales, being dishonorable here. Not great. Not great, not great, not great, I'm going to say. It sounds like twin flamey to me. Well, let's look and see what's going on with the warrior here. Please, higher selves of all involved. One card, a whisper of love for the warrior, the divine masculine warrior here in this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. Please, a whisper of love and clarity for this divine masculine. Do something for someone else. Give your attention to someone else. So what's so interesting, right? Lavish the one that you love with your personal attention and affection, and do something for someone else, considering that they both have that Aries viberino going on in the contract itself. It's saying don't be so selfish. Give of your love, give of your time, give of your truth. If this is truly romantic sexual, then let that fire do its thing, but do it honorably, right? Do it as two heroes, right? Or a warrior hero and a hero mediator, someone who's really trying to bring justice and balance and fairness to the contract. So for freedom, and there's something artistic here. We have to look at this. I have to. I can't wait 1 second longer. Can you? Breathe. Breathe. This is so intense. Whew. Please, the higher selves of all involved, one card in clarity for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign artist archetype twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. We've got freedom. We've got both Aries cards. We've got lack of self-worth and happiness in the balance. So please, one card in clarity for this contract. Miracles and blessings. Everything has its gift. So what you can do, regardless of which side you are here, party A or party B, start just playing with the idea, right? That everything has its gift, that somehow everything that has happened, everything that is happening, everything that will happen has its gift, is here to help. Nothing is stupid. If it could have happened any other way, it would have happened any other way. Everything is helping everything else somehow in the quantum, that a weakness is getting strengthened, and eventually we look back and go, oh God, thank you that it went that way. That if you start giving thanks for it now without knowing all of those, I find you get the insights faster in foresight instead of in hindsight. Either way, right? Miracles and blessings. So whatever the spiritual work is here that you can do within yourself, that is twin flame. The more you heal yourself, one would think it would mirror in the twin, right? So you heal you, you do you, but that is the blessing of this double Aries energy in here. It's like, don't focus so much on the other person unless you are going to lavish the other with their love and affection, or give your attention to someone else. In other words, get out of yourselves, right? That if there is real, true, diagnosable narcissism going on here, overt, covert, malevolent, is that one of them? Passive, active, all the different pantheon gods, toxic gods of that pantheon, then, you know, if that's going on, it's going to be a real fucking challenge, but maybe a way out of freedom from that, right? Because there are those who say that personality disorders cannot be healed. I agree psychologically, right? If it's, they can be treated to an extent that there's behavior modification, but with the gods, all things are possible, and I think it takes both. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it absolutely takes both. We have to take everything we've learned with us in the ascension process. Not that we're leaving the body, we're bringing it here. I'm not giving up this body now. I look great at 51. That's not narcissistic. That's just pure shock on the point of an earth sign saying, wow, I look like this at 51. I look younger now than I did in my 30s. Well, the overtone purple for brown helps. Last card down, Journey of Love Oracle, such an ass kicker. There's no way I would even try and memorize the meanings of these cards. They're great straight out of the book. There's poetry, they're beautiful, and they've done such a wonderful job. But I think I will never do a spread with more than one of these, right? Because one's enough. It's concentrated like Prel. Only like 2% of this audience knows what I just said. Breathe. Oh, my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, a Journey of Love Oracle card. A piece of your divine guidance and grace for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019, please. We've got this divine feminine mediator, this divine masculine warrior in this artist twin flame contract. Where is this all on the journey of love? Shifting universes. Blow my hair back and forth. I know, I just combined two different things. Number 7, number of transformation. That's easier. We know it's in the beginning of the book. Never read this one before. Yes, I will. The gods are like, wet your whistle. Thank you, my gods. Wonder Java. All right. Number 7. Now, really pretty picture. Very geometric, right? Not really able to differentiate figures, individuated one from the other, but a lot, very Escher. Escher with color, right? Color Escher. Number 7, shifting universes. You are blessed with an opportunity to change gears, to change your life, to jump on the fast train. You are invited to fling yourself off the repetitive treadmill way of life and into a dance through nature. Nature, divine masculine, has the card of nature. To be utterly confused and delighted, to accept the way of divine trust even with its chaos, the instability that precedes all genuine creativity. Artist archetype. So here it is. Your get out of jail free card. Your opportunity to make a mess and find what you didn't know you were looking for. You are being nudged. If you wish, let yourself go down that strange path opening up before you without knowing what it is, even as you take your next step. Your universe is shifting, and stranger, more beautiful worlds beckon. Why not go where you haven't been before? You'll find yourself there and realize you are more than what you once thought you were, right? So that's the meaning of the card. In the oracle itself, this oracle has a message for you. If you are thinking of changing locations, jobs, houses, or attitudes, trying something new, especially if it is unusual for you, then the universe is supporting you. Now is the time to accept what you didn't expect. So I wouldn't call it a tower moment necessarily, but a shifting of universes and an opportunity for a radical change, and it may be so uncomfortable to do so outside of the nature, but yet with a real beauty to it, particularly with that artist archetype. You with me? So I'm going to read the poem, right? The Dream, the poem is called. The taste and touch of you within. Thoughts linger on a sweet caress. You come to me, no sounds distract. The night's embrace of innocence. The artist's brush across my lip. The palette rich in colors deep, to flow with feelings now renewed, and blend as one in breath and hue. Entwined our bodies bathe in love, and weep with longing's slow release, emotion's song and soft refrain, awaken dreams that never cease. Well, if that ain't just straight out of Aaron Spelling's Charm, just waiting to happen. That was really lovely. That was beautiful. Look, there's a soul contract here. Obviously, that's what a twin flame contract is. But that a real radical change here for all. And let's do that in overview. Ready? Join with me. Magic clap. We start with the divine feminine mediator archetype in the shadow, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. The light attribute she's shooting for. Gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument, which makes sense, right? Because she's manifesting this Ten of Blades, this resolution, this ceremony of the rattle, so that not just all of the different voices within her, all of her different, right, like doubts and the beauty of the situation, how beautiful this is, and yet the doubts that she has, really balancing them, letting them all be loved, letting them all have a voice, whether it's the true self of the inner child or the wounded ego, no matter, all get a seat at the table, all get to be heard. And this all being fueled by a romance, very much wanting to lavish the one that she loves with her personal attention and affection, whether it is this divine masculine or not. There's that small percentage where it feels like, no, that they want to put their thumbs on the scale because of romantic attraction here and wanting to lavish that in an unhealthy way in terms of their mediation. But otherwise, there is a romantic draw between these two, though both are usually used to being right all the time, right? So then we shoot over here to this divine masculine warrior in the shadow, trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, particularly if a mediation is involved. Indifference to the suffering inflicted on others can be very narcissistic and also violent physically, emotionally, mentally, perhaps even spiritually. The light attribute that he's shooting for: strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego, which toughness of will, which means toughness of choice of decision, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego to really do, well, what is for the well-being of all. And if he does not know that, to what? Really stand his ground until he does, that his warrior nature, his honorable side, the hero within him with this card of nature, to draw upon that nature and by all means go out into nature, divine masculine warrior archetype, to connect with that, to find your center, to find your peace, because with that Seven of Wands, you've been defending yourself for so long, right? Or been defending someone or something for so long that with this mediator, things have been perhaps jostled for you, for her, for you both. And again, mirrored with that card of defensiveness in the lead, with laughter, that if that laughter really can step back and say, look, we all really want the same thing here. Someday let's look back and laugh at this, but I need to do something for someone else here. Let me do this for you. Please, let me come by. This is uncomfortable for me, but there's that shifting universe cards. Let's try and do this in the best way possible. Let's try and fulfill this contract. Now, really, it feels like the divine feminine wants to do that. That mediator with that card of the rattle, really doing it in some beautiful way. Remember, this contract itself is an artist contract. The shadow, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity, the light attribute expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. And that's why if the two of them can really see this from a higher archetypal attitude and see what the story really is, then there is great freedom here, where both of them get to lead as the King of Wands, the Maiden of Flames, that Aries energy, right? Of creative fire, of great freedom in that heals self-worth with happiness, that miracles and blessings are involved here, but there needs to be a shift of universe, because even the Course in Miracles does say a miracle is a shift in consciousness from a thought system based in fear, the ego's thought system, to a thought system based in love, which would be the thought system of the spirit, the true self. So definitely something artistically, symbolically playing out here for the well-being of all. And remember, as one heals, all heal. So my bulls, my Taurians, there you have it. Now again, a bunch of these have felt very specific, so definitely not for everybody, right? A mediator and a warrior, that sounds sort of ancient, but with that artist part of it put in there, not really sure. So please do comment in the box below. Let me know what this is about if you can, keeping confidences where they need to be, particularly if you're the mediator. Otherwise, let me give you the blessing. May this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, sign, twin flame contract be blessed with all that it needs for November-ish 2019, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may fulfill their own aspects, learning how to love themselves, heal themselves, forgive themselves, have compassion for themselves, and therefore heal, give compassion to, love, bless all of life for the well-being of all. And so it is. Please do like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. One more to go. Taurus, taking a little time off, and then I'm starting the new moon to full moon next. What do I need? Reads. And those after these will be quickies. Trust and believe. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all so much, my Taurians, my Earth signs. I love you all so much. We should all hang out, party, and eat brownies. But for now, my darlings, hail, farewell, and blessed be.